So T-piece, both ends open, end of line hydrant, one end open and one end blank. That goes on the end of your pipeline. So first thing to note with these is that they're not permitted for use with direct mains water, i.e. being directly coupled to a main supply. There needs to be an air gap in the system, and the reason for that is due to the risk of back pressure, i.e. this sits in a puddle, and if there's a loss of pressure in the main line, then dirty water can get back in through the valve and contaminate the supplies. Okay, so we'll get one apart. We'll take these ends off. So what we have in the middle is a T-piece, same on both valves. We then have this, the cone, it's kind of cone shaped. Inside there sits an O-ring, and then we have the piece that grips the pipe, that holds the pipe, the collet. On the other side, as you may guess, it's exactly the same. And then in the middle, at the top there, we have the valve. So the first piece is actually the same. So we have there a cone with an O-ring and the piece that grips the pipe, the collet. And we have the valve. So the valve just slides out of there. That's a high flow valve. It works when the pipe is pushed into the hydrant fitting. The pipe sits on top of the valve, and as you push down to lock it, the valve opens and water passes through the centre and flows into the pipe and into the trough. So these are pretty good. If one's leaking, it may be that you've got a little bit of grit just stuck under the valve, so disassemble it, check around that sealing surface, make sure there's nothing stuck and there's no chips or marks on that face. Okay, pretty universal these, so the valve will fit in there, it'll fit in there and there, so you can make up different combinations to suit how you're using the hydrant. We'll put it back in there for now. So now this collet is also pretty special. There's actually two types. So if I pop out that one, okay, and you'll see the difference here. So this tab here, this is an anti-release tab. What it means is that for our T-piece, for our normal hydrant, we don't want the pipe, our supply pipe, being released accidentally as we're moving it around. But we do want our hydrant, where we're plugging our trough into, we want this one to be able to release. So this tab always sits on the pipe side, where you're going to plug into your supply, and then this one always should sit with the hydrant, where you're going to connect and disconnect from. Okay, so just something to note. Now if you want a hydrant where you can always connect and disconnect, you just snap that tab off using a screwdriver, and you can make it into this one. So this tab can be broken off to enable you to release the pipe if you need to. There you are, so we'll reassemble these. So the collet with the anti-release tab is going to go into this cone. O-ring at the back. I'm just going to start to screw that in, and then I'm going to check that my collet can move. Okay, that's in the right position. I'm going to tighten that all the way up. Same for this side. Start to tighten, check the collet can move, tighten up, and then here I'm going to place my collet in there, O-ring in the back, and again start to tighten and check, there you go, the collet can move, and tighten that all the way up. Okay, so this one I've got the collet and it's got no tab on it. Okay, the anti-release tab's been broken, so when I put a pipe in here, I'm going to be able to release that pipe again. On these sides, so this is where my supply is going to be, these collets have this anti-release tab. Okay, so they're not going to release the pipe as the pipeline gets dragged around the field. The end of line hydrant, Well, that end is simply a blank, like so. All other parts of the fitting are as you've just seen. So the first thing we do before using our fittings is you make sure that all of the ends are tight. So we use a set of pipe wrench for that. We're going to tighten all three sides. There you go. Okay, so everything's nice and tight. That fitting is now ready to be used.